It was the worst kept secret in the world, first off. I mean, we were in pre-production. We were talking at the production meeting, and it had gotten out on the Albuquerque Journal that the movie was being shot. And the code name, which was Greenbrier, which I don't know if you know is an inside joke for Vince because he's from Virginia, and Virginia is the Greenbrier Hotel, the CIA had secretly built this underground compound underneath this hotel in Virginia for all of the senators and congressmen and the president, vice president, all of their families, like 500 people to be able to come and live underground for months on end during a nuclear explosion. But I'll never forget my B camera operator, Matt Cradle, was coming to Albuquerque from here in Los Angeles, and he was watching the entertainment. He was watching news, and the entertainment thing came on, and the guy said, "Hey, so we hear they're shooting a Breaking Bad sequel, or a finale. We hear it's called Greenbrier. So if you're driving through Albuquerque and you see those yellow signs that say Greenbrier, just follow them to the set and say hello." And he was like, "Oh my God!" Luckily, we didn't use signs that said Greenbrier on them. We had different signs, but another code name. But it was tough. I mean, the hardest part, I think, was what we did to ourselves, which was we had code names for all the characters too. So there's a real name for the actor, a real name for the character, and then their code name. And like nobody knew which one was which, and so it got very, very confusing.
Who was keeping track of that, of the names and what actually meant?
Well, so the first time I was actually exposed to that with these guys was on season 3 of Saul, because Gus was coming back at the beginning of season 3, and they were keeping that a big secret. So they had a code name for him. I'm trying to remember. And the problem is that it can't change the spacing in the script, so they have to pick a code name that has the same number of letters as whatever the name is. So it was Bob's Burger Engineer, I think is what it was. Burger Engineer having the same number of letters as Pollos Hermanos. So it was interesting. There was like Kirk. They tried to pick things. I'm trying to remember. Bert and Ernie were Brian and Jesse and Walt. Obviously, you could tell which one was which because of the number of letters. And then I'm trying to remember. Kirk, I think, was Skinny Pete because he was a big Star Trek fan. So they tried to pick things that kind of related to the character a little bit. But yeah, it was very confusing.
I get high, I get low. Oh.
I was able to go through all of the lab, the Quonset hut, the big round thing where Jesse was in the pit and stuff like that. Like, we rebuilt the pit.
Tomorrow's gonna be a big day. A whole new batch.
They rebuilt that lab. As a matter of fact, very few people know this, but if you look, I'm not sure it's even in the movie, but Walt's handprint is on one of those big canisters that's right there. Vince didn't have the heart to erase it. So all the stuff, they finished it up, whatever it was, 6 years ago or whatever, 7 years ago. They put it all in storage. They get it all out, and there's this bloody handprint from the finale, right? Which hasn't taken place yet, obviously, but he just didn't have the heart to have it taken off.
Special love I had for you.
I think that you know this, but Jesse Plemons is the most noticeable that he was different from Breaking Bad. I don't know if...
Yeah.
I disabled it. I just thought you should know.
What's your name?
Todd, sir.
Yeah. He's obviously, he was a very, very young man when he did Breaking Bad, and he's done a number of other things.
Sharing the night together, whoa, yeah. Sharing the night.
He was doing a character so that weight was something that everybody knew kind of going in, but there just wasn't time, and they realized that, as soon as you take one look at him and he gives that evil smile that he has, you're you're in. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for a half a second, people kind of bumped on it, but he is so good. The show, when it's cut and the music and everything is in, you really are along for the ride. It's hard to, it really is hard to screw something like that up too much. Now, obviously, I had some of those issues in El Camino because we had to match like the lighting exactly in that Quonset hut had to be exactly the same, and we had to dig around because they pulled out lights that Michael had gotten from somewhere. Thank God we had the same rigging crew, and they remembered where they'd gotten them from and what they were, and restored everything exactly the same.